She had spent so many days before meeting him alone, living alone, sleeping alone, going to the beach alone, traveling alone, dining alone, going about her day alone. Well, not this time. This time, her whole day, again, would be filled spending it with him. Having spent quite a few days with him already, indoors, naked, in bed, cuddling, kissing, orgasms, pillow talking, dining on his amazing cooking talents, all she could do was smile wide and feel just as warm inside as the water did on the outside flowing down her body as she showered. Our Romeo was also in a great mood, as he thought about spending the day with her too. He also mentally processed all the time they had spent together, the days, the nights, bodies spooning, long makeout sessions in bed, pillow conversations, kissing while cooking, hanging out in bed for hours on end, even after they woke up, among other fun thoughts of making her orgasm so many times. He certainly had his own flow of memories streaming through his mind as well. Once ready, they met in the kitchen so they could confirm that they had everything before heading out. "Wow, you look gorgeous," he said, commenting on the cute yellow sundress she was wearing. "Ready to head out?" he asked. "Yep, I'm ready." "Great, give me a kiss." She reached up to kiss him sweetly on the lips, loving that he asked her before they left the house. They took her car, since it was the one in the driveway, and blocking his car in the garage. He drove. She liked being driven. When you're alone so much, you either do all the driving or some stranger drives you around, which isn't all that much fun. There's no hand-holding, no personal conversation, no red light kisses. With him driving, she could have all that and more. He knew just the spot to take her. They found parking, got out, and started walking around. Hand in hand, they walked and walked. Where they were, there was a pier, a fun zone with games and rides, an old-fashioned Ferris wheel with ocean views, among a number of cool surf shops and a diversity of amazing restaurants. The beach wasn't too crowded, which was nice. It was an amazing day to be out in the sun, not too hot, not too windy, the perfect day for them to stroll and take in all that they had been through together since first meeting one another. "Hey, you want to walk on the shore? Kind of get our feet wet?" he asked. "Sure." They took off their shoes and walked through the sand towards the water. The waves are kind of mild today," he said. "I used to come here and go bodyboarding a lot." "Oh, do you surf?" "Well, I do both. Surf a little and bodyboard. Big difference, though. But I like to do both. It depends on my mood. It's great just to be out here. Catch a wave, ride it in. You do all that all day, and you really feel one with the ocean." "I can imagine. I don't go too far into the water, but I do like to go in and feel the waves against my legs and my body." "That's cool. Well, if you ever do go to the beach and you go into the water, I'll hold you so you can feel safe and really enjoy going into the water that much more." She looked up and smiled at him when he said that. With their shoes off and barefoot, they strolled up the beach a little more until they stopped at one point. They turned, looked at each other, and just as one of them was about to say something, the other one started too. "Okay, who's going to go first?" he asked. "I want to," she replied. "All right, go ahead. I'm all ears," as he smiled, waiting to hear what she had to say. "I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming into my life like you have, how you treat me, the time you spend with me, how you make me feel. I've never met a man like you before. I don't know if this is real or a fantasy, but you sure make it seem like both. Just standing here with you, looking at you, holding you holding me, it makes me want to live out this moment forever. My life before you was so lonely. And I don't mean to bring it up, but I thought there might be something wrong with me. I thought maybe I'm not enough, not pretty enough, not desirable, not this or that. Then you came along, and you invited me to sit with you at the coffee shop. Remember? I do. Well, I just want to thank you for changing my life and making me feel desired, special, and loved. I see things differently today. About myself, about life, and in a good way. I never knew a man could make me feel this way, the way you do. And I just want to say thank you and how grateful I am to have met you. She then paused and put her head against his chest as they continued to hug on the beach. Because he couldn't see her face the way they were standing, she had a private moment to herself where she could let out a tear. He too paused before responding to her so she could have that moment to herself. For about a minute or two, he waited, said nothing, but held her. Within time, she pulled back, still hugging him and wiping her eyes some. He knew she had had a moment and was all in to connect with her right then and there. I can only imagine what you've been through, he said. And I have to say, what you said makes my heart desire you too. I mean, I wouldn't do all those things to you, for you, with you, if I didn't think you were someone special to me, right? She looked up, her eyes still kind of leaking a few tears. With one tear rolling down her cheek, he took his warm hand and wiped it away. She smiled again and nodded in agreement. Look, have you noticed how much I'm careful with you, patient with you, giving, nurturing, supportive? I didn't see you carry me into the bedroom while we were together, but I certainly carried you once or twice. She smiled and laughed. Yeah, I know. Who's been doing all the cooking and special lovemaking? He said with a smile. You, she replied, smiling back at him. I mean, it's like you knew what I was getting into the minute I met you at the coffee shop, didn't you? I just didn't know what was in store for me, where you and I were concerned. I didn't know you would change my world so much and have such a positive impact like you did. I had no idea, but you did. You know, to some degree, you're right. They say that you never know someone until you actually spend quality time with them. For some, that might take weeks, months, even years. In our case, having spent the kind of time we have together, and in the way that we have, it's as if I've known you for years. We get along so well. You love my cooking. I do. I love making you orgasm. I know, I love that too. I love your kisses. You love mine. We seem to have a lot of common interests with regard to our work and possibly making money together with what we want to do and talked about, right? Yes, we do. So, in the shower today, I got to thinking, where do I want this to go? Where you and I are concerned. Where do you want this to go? She asked with an awaiting expression on her face. I think what we have is something very special. I believe there's something here that needs to be explored more. I know you have to go home tomorrow. You can't just keep hanging out at my place, laying around naked all day and having these orgasms and taking naps and getting fed while pleasured and more. I mean, what kind of lifestyle is that? As he joked and smiled after saying all that to her. Yeah, I know. She laughed with him. So I've been thinking, why don't we make our time together more official? Like? He paused for just a moment to help reinforce the statement he made and the question she just asked. Well, I'd like to suggest we go out. You know, date each other. Become boyfriend and girlfriend for real. No fantasy boyfriend, no wondering where this will go, or is this the end? Like, I think we should see other people kind of BS. No, just you and I, the real deal, together as one. I want to be, what do they say, emotionally available to you, open to growing something with you, if that's the phrase they call it today. She smiled wide and replied right back without hesitation. I'd like that too. I was wondering where you might want this to go. if you wanted to see me again. And now that I know that you do, I want the same thing too. I'd like to keep seeing you." It was a moment of warmth and exhilaration for them both. Finally, these two could relax, having been out at sea for so many years, so to speak, alone, fighting to survive those troubled waters that often come with the world of scary dating, crazy strangers, and broken hearts. That would be no longer. They had now found each other. Now they walk on the proverbial beaches and shores of their own paradise island together, as boyfriend and girlfriend. Great. Then it's settled. As of right now, right here on this beach and in this very spot we stand, we proclaim that we are an item, boyfriend and girlfriend, he said with a smile while looking into her eyes, while she smiled right back at him. She was elated. She sprung up on her toes to hug and passionately kiss him. With tears forming in her eyes almost, she replied, "It's funny, before meeting you, I thought I was going to have to call on the good old Lord and to ask if I was going to be single forever and maybe even die alone. It's kind of like you are a fantasy, but no, you're real. I'd say you're almost like a dream come true. What you said makes me so happy. I could run around in circles and scream for joy. I'm in love." Well, then why don't you? She proceeded to do just that. Jump for joy, run circles around him, and even perform some kind of rhythm gymnastics right there on the beach. Okay, hey, be careful. The tide might come in and whisk you away if you don't watch it. I don't want to lose you already. I'm kidding. Dance all you want. I love watching. She finished up and ran back to him, stood there, hugging him and holding him close. They kissed as the waves washed up on their feet. It was almost like the kissing scene in From Here to Eternity, where two lovers lay on the shore's edge, kissing passionately as the waves roared up on shore, almost covering their bodies. It was quite the romantic scene, to say the least. A kissing moment everyone should experience at some point in their lives with the one they love. He said to her, it's one thing to write about love, romance, intimacy, and finding the one for you. It's another to actually find that person in today's depressing climate of dating and relationships. It's hard for both men and women. We all want the same thing, really. Yet we're all so alone in our search for so much of our lives. I don't like that. Maybe in our own special way, we can lead by example and show people what love, romance, making love, and experiencing deep joy between two people is really like. Kind of like inspire them to slow down and really focus on what's really important in life, which is finding the one for them sooner rather than later. Yeah, I'd like that. Well, I'm glad. Come on, what do you say we get something to eat? I'm getting a little hungry. What about you? Sounds good. I'm getting a little hungry too. I know a great restaurant we can go to. We can walk there from here. They have seats by the window that look out over the water. I'd like to get there, get a great seat, and watch the sunset with you again. Oh, I'd love that. Sure, let's go. They kissed one more time, hugged a bit, then grabbed each other's hands and walked off to find the restaurant. It wasn't too far away. He could actually see it from where they were walking. Within just a few minutes, they were there and walking through the restaurant's front door. Hi, hey, table for two? And can we have that one table upstairs in the corner? He asked the hostess. Come this way. I know which one you're talking about. This is a very nice place. Yeah, it's not too bad. They serve seafood, pasta, pizza, and all kinds of other amazing dishes. Pizza sounds great, actually, she said. Done deal. Pizza it is. What do you like on your pizza? She shared what she liked, and to his delight, they kind of liked the same kind of toppings on their pizza. The waiter came, they ordered, and soon they were back to doing what they love most, staring into each other's eyes, smiling, holding hands, and kissing every so often. Look, the sun is almost setting. You can see it pretty well from here, can't you? I like this view. being on the second floor really helps. It's almost like we're back on the boat, watching the sunset when we did. True. That was a great moment, wasn't it? I'll never forget it. Well, here, come close. The type of table they sat at was perfect for sitting close and right next to one another. They could hold hands easily. He could put his arm around her shoulders. They could kiss lightly at any moment. She could prop her leg up on top of his under the table. You can just imagine what these two were capable of doing in this private booth on the second floor of this restaurant. The table they sat at was a bit hidden by a wall, so as to give them a nice element of privacy, which they took full advantage of when the waiter left their table to do whatever waiters do. They could, and did, kiss passionately for a few seconds before and during their meal. Having ordered a special drink that came with straws, they enjoyed drinking out of the same drink as they'd look into each other's eyes with delight, as they thought about their day and possibly what might happen when they got back to his place. They playfully fondled and felt each other in ways that were more romantic, fun, and humorous than anything seriously sensual or physical in nature. Feeding each other was something they both loved to do. One plate, one fork, remember? Well, with pizza, you can either feed one another by hand, or you can cut up a pizza slice and serve it that way to the one you love. No matter. Dinner was great. Their drink was great. Watching the sunset was great. These two couldn't be happier in the moment. As the sun was setting, they remembered their moment on the boat when they kissed for the first time. He gestured that they repeat that moment right there at the table. Funny, but with a small bite of pizza in her mouth, she quickly swallowed, leaned in, and they smooched. He grabbed her hand, and they held each other as best they could at the table while they kissed during that sunset. They didn't need to kiss that long, as it was more about the sentiment of it all anyway. Kissing, sunsets, now pizza, a sweet buzz from their drink. Life was good for these two sweethearts. So, what's on the agenda for tonight? She asked as she took another sip of their drink. Well, what are you up for? I have something in mind, but what do you feel like doing? Lying in bed, watching a movie, smooching. What we've been doing for 4 days on and off, she said with a smile as she cozied up to him at the table. Sounds like a plan to me. I think I can spice things up a bit for us. You'll have to wait and see, but I have something in mind. I can't wait. All right. Hey, I've had enough here. Are we ready maybe to get out of here? Yeah, I think so. As she put her arms around him to kiss him again. After enjoying a wonderful dinner, watching the sunset from their table, he made one more suggestion before leaving for home. I've never been on that Ferris wheel ride. Would you like to go? He asked her. Really? Sure. I can only imagine the view up top, looking over the ocean. I bet. Sounds romantic too, being up so high. Can I hold your hand if I get scared? He asked her, smiling. Don't worry, I got you, she said. They made their way over to the Ferris wheel and then stood in line, holding hands before stepping into the passenger seat for two. Buckled in, with the bar over their thighs, they snuggled close to each other. His arm around her hands in his lap, holding his free hand. Again, the weather was perfect for that time of evening. Warm, not too windy. This allowed them to truly enjoy the ride. Up, and around they spun, smiling the whole time, looking out at the ocean. The sun had gone down, but its light still lit up the sky some, making the ocean still quite visible. I love you, she said as she looked up at him, sitting there beside him riding the Ferris wheel. I love you, he replied back. Pretty soon, their Ferris wheel ride came to an end. What a sweet little moment they shared, high up in the air like that. Another memory to add to her already vast collection of memories he helped her make within just the first week. The boat ride dinner for two, the fantasy adventure to Italy and their gondola ride, the Jacuzzi Castle hotel getaway, all those real orgasms. Bacon cookies, breakfast in bed, dinners he cooked, All that, and in just under a week of spending time with him. Unbelievable, she thought to herself. With the sun going down and the evening upon them, they headed back to her car, got in, and drove home. Again, she noticed his care in helping her get in on her side of the car before he got in. Something she thanked him for in the form of kisses on the way home any time there was a red light. Those are called red light kisses, in case you didn't know. She was also reminded about the fact that he helped fix a few items on her car. Again, more rewards, more kissing on the way home. Pretty soon, they arrived back at his place. They got out, shook the sand out of their shoes, and proceeded to go in. Hey, I'm going to go take a quick shower to wash off all this sand. Would you care to join me? He said. I think I will, she replied in a sexy voice. Great. I'll wait until you're ready, and then we can hop in together and shower up. Okay, just give me a few minutes. After taking care of a few personal things, individually, they were each ready and eager for their communal shower together again. This was going to be a quick one, so to speak. Just enough to wash up their feet, arms, and legs, nothing major. Of course, even though it was a quick shower, they still enjoyed their closeness, kissing, smooching, and fun fondling, while buried in soapy suds. What was sweet about this shower was that the main focus was just on washing each other down, washing the sand away, sudsing up, rinsing off, and not without, of course, affectionate moments, but quite innocent and loving. This short shower also served its purpose as they were eager to get back to where they loved to be most, in bed, naked, together, cuddling and smooching. All cleaned up and ready to get out of the shower, he shut the water off and reached out to grab 2 towels for them to dry off. Again, they'd take turns drying each other off like they did the first time they showered together. Repeating what they loved to do to each other always brought back memories of those first times that they ever did anything together. All right. Hey, are you thirsty? Can I get you a water? He asked before heading to bed. Sure, I'd love one. He got their waters and a bowl of red grapes. Hey, I thought we'd munch on these just for a little quick snack. Great idea. So, are you tired or want to take a nap for an hour, or what do you want? Watch a movie? What are you up to? That sounds pretty good. We did walk a lot today in the sun, and the dinner was delicious, yet filling. Yeah, what if you told me a story and then we fall asleep that way? I always love falling asleep listening to your voice. It's so soothing to listen to. All right, well, since we are at the beach today, why don't we continue that vision and I fly us down to a private Caribbean island with our own private beach bungalow where we can spend time alone and do nothing all day, but enjoy our time together, the sand, the sun, and making love together. Oh, I like it already. Please, take me away. I'm ready, as she snuggled up closer.